in All-Ireland. But my next two guests have a unique record, given the fact they captained their counties to win in the GA centenary year of 1984. John Fenton was captain of the Cork Hurlers and Ambrose O'Donovan captain of the Kerry Footballers, and I'm delighted to have them both here in studio this evening. And Ambrose, while John knew in advance he'd be the Cork captain that year, you didn't know. It came about in unusual circumstances, didn't it?
It did indeed. I suppose first and foremost, running up to the Munster Championship, I was struggling to get on the team. You know, I was a sub in the team, and then I suppose before the Munster final, Mick came to me 2 or 3 weeks. He says, "Lad, you're in the line here. You know, your number 9 jersey is looking for it's up to yourself." So I got on the team, and the week that I was picked on the team, Diarmuid O'Donoghue was injured. He actually broke his wrist, and he would be Killarney would have won the county championship in Kerry at that time, and Diarmuid would have been the captain, and Diarmuid broke his wrist. So Killarney had a meeting. At that time it was Crokes and Legion would have had a meeting, and all of a sudden it came out that Ambrose O'Donovan was the captain of Kerry. So I went from the stage of being a sub on the team to being on the team, and all of a sudden I was captain before the centenary Munster final in Killarney, luckily enough.
And they selected you as their neighbour, but it must have been extraordinary. I mean, given that in, say, June you didn't know would you be on the team, to be going up here to collect the trophy like this.
That's right. It was, I suppose, it was new to me, but I mean, that was such a great team. And I mean, I'd old fellas, you know, with old heads there, like the Bomber, Mikey, Pat Spillane, Judd Power. I mean, they were a great help to me. And that's the first thing they told me was, listen, anybody captain this team, your job is number 9, you're a midfielder, forget the captaincy. So I mean, it was very, very true. I mean, it was an easy team to captain. They were professionals, being honest with them. They were very helpful to me as well. I mean, I was a young fella, 22, coming on the scene. So, I mean, I got great help from them.
Yeah. And John, for you, you captained Cork in Thurles in the centenary final, which was a fantastic occasion and a great day. But do you ever look back and wish that maybe you had lifted the cup in Croke Park?
Not really, does. I suppose it was to have the All-Ireland final picked in Thurles. Thurles, as we always say, is the home of Cork hurling. So Thurles was probably a more appropriate venue, given the circumstances of the founding of the GA in the town. So, like, it was, from our point of view, it was very appropriate.
And of course, the Cork supporters love Thurles, don't they? Which is part of it.
Cork supporters will go anywhere if they think they're going to win the game.
Do you ever look back at the video?
No, I've seen it once. It was on TG Cahir there in the last few months. The games that they show, and I sat down and I watched it, but I've only seen it once.
What about you, Ambrose? Do you like to sit down and look at the tape?
Not really. No, it's 25 years ago now. The years have popped up pretty lively. But I'd like John, I would have seen it on Tina G. But that would be about it. The one thing I would have looked at, my mum and dad were died recently, and we had a function at the Touring Cahill School, so I was my alma mater, as they said, when I started out. But I just looked at it because there was a video taken of the school, and mum and dad were alive that time, and you know, just to look back, and the people that have gone out of that video just drove it home to me. You said 25 years, people that are missing from it. You know, there's certain people missing, and I looked at it the other night. But I wouldn't be making a habit of it.
All right. Well, John, when people talk to you, I presume they bring up often that famous goal against Limerick in '87, do they?
Well, I'd say if I had 5-0 for every time it was mentioned. Yes, I think it often comes up, but like you'll be surprised.
There we see it.
Yeah.
Go on.
It has ranged from 84 to 64 to Thurles to Croke Park, and there must have been an awful lot of tickets sold that day, because everybody who comes up and talks to me and tells me that they were there that day, and they were right behind me. There was an awful lot of people behind me that day when that goal was struck.
It was the perfect strike, though, wasn't it?
It was. Like in hurling, it was very hard for something to plan instinctively for that. And I suppose when we were growing up, what we were always taught in Cork hurling was ground hurling. And as Christy Ring said, you'd hit a ball 100 times in training. If it comes off once in a game, it's worth the 100 times that you do it in training. And I must have done it thousands of times. So, and the law of averages, you're bound to hit one right.
And in looking back, another great moment followed just after your career ended, Cork winning the double in 1990. Do you think that was fully appreciated in the rest of the country, that achievement?
Well, I don't know, and it was a unique achievement coming 100 years after the first one. And I suppose for my own club, Middleton, our club won the All-Ireland in 1890 for the football. And in 1990, 2 players, Kevin Hensey and Geoff Fitzgerald, were on the hurling team. So we had a unique, and Colin O'Neill was on the football team. So we had a unique, I suppose, link between both events. But